G'day everyone, Diesel here from Getting Around Oz Camper Trailer Travelling. Thanks for checking out a video today. A few weeks ago we picked up a new car. Well, here she is. G'day, how are you? Thanks for joining us today, and if this is the first video in this series you're seeing, I'll chuck a link in the description. You can check out some more of this if you like. I'm going to show you exactly what comes with the kit, exactly how to install this from start to finish. Now, this was my first time doing it on the Ranger. I had previously done it on the Pajero, but the Pajero had the coil springs. This one here actually has the leaf springs, so it is slightly different, but it's fairly similar in the way, you know, that they perform on what they're supposed to do. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on how the airbags perform on the Ranger. Now, we just recently completed a 7,000k trip, might have been a little bit more, across Australia and back, towing a 2.5 ton camper trailer. And if you had any doubts about why you should consider these for yourself, stick around for that one. But as always, if you have any questions, chuck them in the comments and I'll be able to answer those ones for you. We've been running these for a few months now and definitely have a good idea of how these perform, let alone the ones we had in the Pajero, which we've had for maybe a year or two now. And if you're new to our channel and you want to get behind us and support us, hit the subscribe button and like the video. But enough from me, grab yourself a drink, make yourself comfortable. I hope you enjoy it. Cheers. Airbags from Airbag Man going in the Ranger. Yes, these are very different. The first job is you obviously got the two brackets here. So what we're going to do next is undo these 4 bolts here because we want to take out this bump stop. There we go, it's done. Inflating and deflating this one here is fairly simple. That one there, it stopped happening. But with the airbags, a lot of this, basically get a bit of... So, today's video, we've got airbags from Airbag Man going in the Ranger now. If you've been with us for a while, you know we installed these in the Pajero last year, and before and after airbags while towing was fairly significant. And going over bumps and hills and, you know, so a little surprise rise and those types of things, it wasn't uncommon for, you know, just to be a big slap on the backside, so to speak. But once we got the airbags in there, it just firmed up the rear like that. It just settled really quickly. The Ranger suspension is a little bit different. We've got leaf springs, so it's a lot firmer. Thank you to Airbag Man. They've sent me these to use, to try it, and simply tell you or show you an installation video. So yes, these are very different than what we had in the spring. So they are a little bit heavier, that's for sure. So we've got nice long air cables here. This one also has different types of brackets, cable ties, all the bolts and bits and pieces that we're going to need for the job as well. Now what they do as well, which I actually will do myself, is they supply with a QR code. Now the QR code gives you all the directions you need to do a DIY install. Now in a separate little box here I got, I think they're maybe 10 bucks extra, so got these little cutters here. I mean, you could use a Stanley knife, but being airlines, it is important to make sure you have a nice clean cut, because when you fix them on there, if it's not straight and it's not going to fix properly, you're going to have some bloody leaks. That's about enough for this one right now. I'll jump back with you once I've got him all jacked up and I've got the tools ready to go and we're ready to get in the job. Alrighty, good morning. Ready to go here. It's a nice morning here. It's not too warm yet, so keen to get cracking this one. Taking this off here, I've got the jacks up a little bit further. Now I've actually got a jack under the diff as well because I want to raise this down, but once I'm sort of getting them into place there, I actually want to be able to raise it up and do that without too much hassle. And look, I guess the next part is I've got all the parts out here. I haven't quite separated everything, but now to get more information, which I need to do, is scan this QR code here. This gets you to the website. Once you get to the website, put this SKU in here, or model number I think it is. From there you select the product you want. At that point you've got the option to watch tutorial videos, recommendations, you know, recommended settings, and all the information you need is all basically all set up here. And for me, I've actually clicked on the instruction manual because being a first timer, I'm just going to work my way through it nice and slowly. First job is, you obviously got the two brackets here. You can see there, but I guess if you follow the instructions, you can work it out for yourself. Put this one down in here. So we'll washer there. And we're going to screw this bolt on. Okay, so next bit is, now I've got those two bolts on there. Got this little airline bolt here, which basically just screws in the top here. Now, you don't have to hold that one in place, that'll just swing freely as it needs to. This one is a 14mm spanner, in case you're wondering. So, next bit is the bottom bracket with one of these 4 bolts here. Now, it is going to be offset a little bit, but I'll show you that in a sec. Again, this is a 14mm bolt again. So like that, but we want to make sure this side here and this side here is straight. So I'm just going to put them down there nice and flat just to make sure they're even, because if they're not, you're going to have a bit of trouble trying to put it on a bit later. Okay, so now we're ready to get down and try and get these on. How's that? The very moment I start to do this, the bloody next door neighbour's lawnmower starts up, but that's just how it is, and I've got to get this done. So what we're going to do next is undo these 4 bolts here, because we want to take out this bump stop, which will allow us to put the airbag on here. Now I've gone a bit old school here with spanners, no fancy gear. So this is a 21mm spanner. I've got those undone just about, and I'll show you the last bit here. It's good. At that exact moment, the lawnmowers and the whippersnippers next off, shut off, which is nice. So one of the U-bolts there. Basically we're just doing this to get rid of this bump stop here, which obviously is there to stop this one smashing into. And now we're going to put him back on. The instructions do say to watch out for, if you have aftermarket U-bolts, you may need to trim them down a bit, because the top of these may hit the bottom of the airbags there. There's the whippersnipper going there. This bump stop here definitely is going to make it easy for me to do up these bolts. That's probably been the hardest part of this job so far. So just the inside here now. This is on the chassis. We just need to undo this bolt here, because we're going to put that back in a moment with the airbag, and I've done up the bolts there now on this one. Squeeze the air out of him. There we go. So you can see there, it's got the, goes on the bolts here, and there's a bolt that I'm going to do on here soon. That's nice and snug up in there. Now I just got to put that bolt back on the inside. You haven't missed out anything on this side. All I've done was take the U-bolts off, take the bump stop out, and tighten the bolts back up. But it's now time for us to get the airbag in it. Put this one in here first, because I don't think it matters much about which order you do it in. One here's not going to move much anyway. Doing up the inside is a little bit different, because it doesn't have that little bolt that was there. So this one here, we're going to put a bit of a bend in him. Essentially we're going to do is stick this through here, and the bolt the inside is going to go onto this one. With the air lines here, it's a case of getting them to click in to the point where you shouldn't be able to pull it out. You got that one there to release it if that's what you want to do, but that's nice and tight there. So I'm gonna start running on the chassis rail here. So running the cables on the passenger side, clipped up there, literally just run across the top here, as you can see here with all the other lines here, and then I've gone from there up into the rail there, actually come out of there, and on the driver's side here, out of there, cable tied onto the chassis rail here over the top there, trying to be as far from the exhaust as I can because I clearly don't want to cook it. Up over the top there, so it comes over the top here and up onto the rail here, and then I'm basically fed it through there. Maybe I could have gone in the end and fed it the whole way through, but I didn't think of it and tied him on there again, through there and down through here to fix it on here. Okay, so next bit is trying to fix this bracket on here, and I reckon I'm going to try and fix him onto the spot here. That bit there is a bit stronger. This bit here is more of a plastic bit, so I can go on there. Bolts wise, they don't supply with bolts, but I've just grabbed some little sort of M5 stainless steel nuts and bolts with a lock that on there, sorry, and I'll drill a hole here. We should be able to get this done pretty quickly. So next job is connecting these lines, so essentially just got to try and work out the length. There we go, it's done. Here we are now. See, that's all there fixed on there nice and tightly, and you got the two nozzles here. You get these little covers here which just screw on there nicely to protect it. Inflating and deflating this one here is fairly simple. Just put the, same as you would with your tyre, just chuck him on there, set it to the pressure you need, and off you go. In regards to what pressures you should use for yours, refer the manual. The manual does have recommendations in regards to measuring the airbag in regards to from the bottom to the top there, and measure it under standard load, so you know what it needs to be when you're driving around town, but also when you hook up your camper trailer or caravan. I got under there with a tape measure what it needs to be, and sort of played around with there. So I know for me 15 psi is about the right height when I'm not towing, and when I am towing about 25 to 30 depending on whether the camper trailer's 2/3 loaded or fully loaded. I guess it depends on how big a trip I'm taking as to how much weight I'm going to put in there. But if I've missed something in installation here, let me know in the comments. I'll definitely make sure I answer it for you. But it wasn't that hard. Follow the instructions or follow the video here if I've done it well enough for you. But we're about to go on a big trip across Australia. It's going to be around 7,000 Ks, from start to finish, heading from WA across the Nullarbor there. It's going to be plenty of blacktop driving and plenty of off-road driving as well. So I'm going to do it with the airbags and without the airbags, and I reckon after this we'll be able to give you a good idea how these things performed, and pretty keen to see if these perform the way I think they should. Now with these airbags here, I had them blown up the whole drive across the Nullarbor okay, but for the drive back there was actually a point where I couldn't find a servo to pump the bloody airbags up, and I really couldn't be bothered getting the air compressor out. So I thought, you know what, I might actually sort of see what these are like without the airbags pumped up. Now we did 100 Ks on some fairly average country roads, and let me tell you, with the airbags slack on these, or which is similar to if you don't have airbags and you've got the bump stop installed here, what I found was you do get a bit of slapping on the arse, okay? Now our camper trailer has a 2.4 tonne ATM. Camper trailer is fairly full, the car was fairly full. With everything fully loaded up, one thing about the Ranger is you don't get slack or sag in the arse. It sits fairly firm. With the Ranger and the airbags and these ones, it's not so much about the sitting height, it's really about the driving. And once I actually pump these ones up, that one there, it stopped happening. The best way I can explain how these sort of perform is, now say that's your bump stop there, right, and that's the average riding height without the airbags or without air in the airbags. That's effectively what you get, okay? And then not only do you get the slap down, you get it up, coming up over where you would normally sit. But with the airbags, honestly, it just reduces the amount of going down and also reduces the amount of up. But also, you don't get a lot of this. Basically, get a bit of, and it just sits. And having used these on 2 cars now, I'm being honest with you, they make a difference. And definitely on the Ranger, you know, when the leaf springs and the back of the Ranger are much firmer than what we had on the Pajero. It makes a massive bloody difference, let me tell you. Do need to say thank you to the team at Airbag Man for actually giving me these ones to try it and experience, and that's 2 experiences now, and you know, both times it's a massive tick for me. And if you have any questions, chuck them in the comments there, and again, if you like what we did today, hit the subscribe button and jump on board. There's plenty more build videos to come, but also we do have the big trip coming up in what is likely to be a couple of weeks. But thanks everyone, hope you enjoyed it. I'm Diesel for Getting Around Oz, Camper Trailer CARAVAN. We'll catch you the next one. Hooroo.